Hey, I'm Jamey Johnson, and you're listening to Like a Farmer.
Hey, y'all, it's Pat. Welcome to another episode of Like a Farmer. This guy joining me today needs no introduction. Matter of fact, he showed up to this interview about an hour and a half early, so the conversations we've already had are unbelievable, so you do not want to miss this interview. Jamey Johnson joins the show every single Wednesday. Why don't you join us on YouTube, wherever you listen to your audio podcast? Let's get into it. The one and only Jamey Johnson. Jamey, I am excited, man.
It's good to meet you.
January of 2000 is when you got into this city.
Yeah.
Can you just explain to me, when you think about, now everybody listening, watching this episode, when you think about Nashville, these days it's like, oh yeah, it's Broadway. Let's go have a good time. Let's bounce around to the a million bars that are on Broadway. When you pulled up to Broadway for the first time in the year of 2000, what did that look like?
It looked like a little bar district. It wasn't nothing like it is now. The first time I went to Tootsie's, I pulled my truck up and parked on Broadway right in front of Tootsie's, went inside and had a beer. And it wasn't like it was overrun with tourists and everything then. It had people in it. It wasn't empty, but it wasn't hopping the way it is now.
From 2000 to where we're sitting, it's 2026. We had a big year last year. You got married last year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just
Showstopper
with that. You were on the road with Riley Green, which was awesome. I remember it was December. It wasn't too long ago at this point in time. And you were in Vegas for NFR. And I just remember after Riley's show, I think it was the second night at Resorts World, I just remember sitting at that blackjack table. And it was me, Hannah McFarland, Jamey Johnson, Randy Hauser, and Riley Green. And I just was like, you know what? My life, I could be good now. If the great Lord took me home, I'd be good right now. I just think that's awesome. How was it when you think about the year you had last year and just being on the road with, you know, I'm calling the younger generation of a Riley Green, and you being who you are and what you've seen in this industry? Like, how was that?
It was a lot more fun than I expected it to be. It was a great crowd every night, but I don't know. He and I had a lot of fun touring together. You know, during the day we'd go find a local baseball park somewhere, hit some baseballs and play catch and that sort of thing. Just hang out with some local people. We went out to one in particular in Oklahoma City. My old buddy Ryan Franklin.
Frankie, baby.
Yeah. Frankie, he came out throwing baseballs that day, so he was our resident pitcher. We brought him out of retirement. You're welcome.
Exactly. We need some film on him.
So, hell, I got to meet Sophie Cunningham on that tour.
Sophie. Well, she just came on the show last week, and what she's doing for not only the WNBA, but basketball as a whole. You need people like that are just champions of a certain sport, and she's done such a great job of who she is on the court and off the court, so I think that's cool.
It wouldn't matter what she gets into, if it's basketball or selling insurance, whatever she decided to do, she's going straight to the top.
Exactly.
So she just brings the energy, man.
And she was giving you some song requests on that.
Well, I got off stage and she said, "You should have done Badonkadonk." I was like, so wasted opportunity now. But the rest of that tour, we ended up doing that song every night.
I want to back up a little bit of, you know, your Alabama, which the Alabama pipeline to Nashville is getting really good. I mean, a lot of it, you know, you have a really good Georgia to Nashville pipeline, obviously. But
I think they got a direct connect.
Exactly. You might have to make a little pit stop in Atlanta before you get to Nashville. But was music, when you think about growing up in Alabama, was it always music for you, or did you have other plans?
I mean, you always had to have a backup plan. And for me, it was probably construction. You know, I started working with my hands from an early age, got really good at certain things. And And one of them was framing houses. You know, I framed a bunch of houses down in Montgomery before I ever moved to Nashville. When I first got to Nashville, I was working at a sign company in sales, and I couldn't do that job anymore because I was colorblind. And I remember one day I was working with a customer trying to design the logo for his restaurant. And he kept asking me, does this look good? Does this look good? I'm like, it's up to you, man. It's just whatever you want. He's like, what about the colors? I'm like, if you think they're good, they're good. We just kept going around and around. And finally, he just says, I can't do this, man. I need some help. I'm colorblind. And I went, hell, I'm colorblind too. I don't know. It's your restaurant. You tell me what color you want the logo to be. So I got out of that and got a gig in an industrial pumping company, bypassing rivers and creeks and that sort of thing. We were the ones that bypassed the Cumberland so they could build that walk bridge.
You talk about being colorblind. Was it because you were in the military?
Well, they didn't care.
Okay.
And I didn't care.
So back then, you know, you could be colorblind. Was it?
Well, in the 90s, it was one of those things, you know, if they wanted to keep you from getting in, they could use that. And if you just didn't want to get in, you could use that to kind of get out. But if you didn't mind and they didn't mind, and they needed some Marines at the time, so it was mutual.
You just went in there like, hey, I might be colorblind, but
that was when I found out. I had no idea. He put this little colorblind test, and he didn't tell me it was a colorblind test. He just put this piece of card down on the table in front of me. He said, what number do you see? And I started counting these dots. Like, and he was a little impatient with me, so I started counting them quicker, trying to go how many down this way. Okay, about 15 or 20, how many across? It's trying to do multiplication in my head. And I told him, I said, I think there's about 180. And he said, 180? He said, what number do you see? And I was like, I don't understand the question. He said, has anybody ever told you were colorblind? I said, no. He said, you want to be a Marine? I said, yeah. He said, you don't care, do you? I said, no. So out went the test, and off I went to Parris Island.
Hell yeah. That's just being American right there. Hey, I might not be able to see colors, but I can tell you I'm American.
Well, I'm a pretty good shot.
Exactly. You're exactly right. Now, when you get back from the military, now is that when you were like, okay, I'm going into music, or is that when you were starting the construction side?
Kind of all of it at the same time. So I'm kind of a control freak, especially with my own time. And I didn't immediately get off to Parris Island after high school. I went to college for a couple of years. When I joined, it seemed to me that I'd have a little more control over where I go and for how long if I was in the reserves. Plus, the Marine Corps has this school, these different schools that you can sign up for and do a couple of months here and a couple of months there. And, you know, it wasn't all just one weekend a month and 2 weeks over the summer. It was a lot of various things that you could go get into and, you know, learn a lot about. So I did 6 years active and 2 years inactive. I was in for a total of 8 years. But I had my freedom to go and do, and, you know, I had jobs in every field just about while I was serving. One of them was a big paying cable TV job in Montgomery. We were taking a company from being a small town cable company to being a big fiber optic, you know, all-in-one network. And I think it's still there today. It was called Montgomery Cablevision when I first signed on with them. And then we turned that company into a company called Knology, with a K, you know, 2 words, technology and knowledge.
Together.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
need some brain power to come up with that. Too,
In the heart of Alabama, no less. When the sales thing had run its course and I couldn't participate in that anymore and still keep a good conscience, I decided to get back into construction. That's when I started framing houses again.
So during this time, when you think about country music, like who were you jamming out to that you were like, man, that guy, that girl, I mean, that's real music right there. Like who was at their top of their game during this time?
Oh, Alan Jackson. You know,
Zach Top's dad.
Yeah, well, Travis Tritt, Dwight Yoakam, Confederate Railroad. We had them all back then, man. It was a great run for traditional country.
Oh, that was the time. Now you're gonna have to help me out because I just asked this question yesterday. I think the last time the Super Bowl had like a full country halftime was Travis Tritt.
Was it?
And it was 90 something. And I forgot when it was because it seemed, I mean, you're right. That was like a run of the ages when you think about traditional country.
Yeah, man. We had Vince Gill.
When you think about when you came into Nashville, was there any, like, who pushed you to say, hey, you need to go to do music? Because that was really, to your point, like you're at a great time for traditional country music, but was still like, hey, if you're going to get into it, you've got to move to Nashville, though.
It wasn't a push. It was a pull. There was always something calling me to Nashville, especially from the music. You know, there was something in me that always knew that I was on a course for this. And it wasn't a question mark. It was an exclamation point. And I'm not saying I didn't have, supporters and people who lifted me up and encouraged and that sort of thing. I absolutely did, but there wasn't a push. It was a tug.
I love that. You obviously have had some massive hits, and especially when you think about traditional country, like, hey, if you want to ride down the dirt road, maybe drink a cold beer, especially if you're in the passenger seat, obviously. But like In Color, I mean, just what a jam.
Is it? I don't think of it as a jam.
I mean, just a great, in my opinion, if somebody said, hey, Pat, like you think about your top songs, maybe top 10, I'd probably put it top 5. Like when you do something like that, and tell me, please, if there was another, like, because it seemed, I mean, you won some awards for that song. That was a huge moment in your career, I think, and I could be totally wrong. This is just a consumer asking if that was the thing, but wasn't that one of those monumental moments of like, dude, this song really changed my life?
It all went by so fast. But yeah, everything was different after that.
What changed?
Well, for starters, the line to get into my show started getting longer and longer. We would pull up at the venue and it'd be early afternoon. We're already seeing people lining up around the corner. This was around 2008.
So from 2000, when you think about 2000 and 2008, like, what were you doing in those times? Because I feel like, and you're going to educate me here, when you think about getting into the industry, there's a couple of different ways you can go. You can move to Nashville and you can just go play Broadway. You can move to Nashville, you can get with some songwriters, you can write songs. You can move to there's multiple ways to get in the industry. But when you moved here, were you just playing bars on Broadway?
I mean, I was, but no, I wasn't just playing bars on Broadway. I was doing everything. Writers' rounds, singing demos, co-writing with writers that had connections with publishing companies, every single thing I could do. And at the same time, still touring, even if it wasn't on a big tour. But I had friends like Wayne Mills, Wayne and I, if we did a show together, I was opening most of the time. And when we weren't doing shows together, we were constantly calling each other and reporting back what the other one made doing this gig at this bar in this town, and just kind of keeping a note of that stuff. If Wayne played somewhere and got $1,500, the next time I talked to those guys. It was $1,500, and I wasn't coming down a penny, and vice versa. You know, if I played someplace and got a big payday, I'd let him know, and Wayne would be all over him next time he called. So
it's kind of like I'm gonna match this to sports a little bit, and you've seen it. I mean, 2000, we're in 2026 now. You got 26 years here in town. The money's changed too now, Jamey. I mean, I've had John Daly was sitting where you're sitting at one point in time, and I was like, Daly, man, what are you doing? Like, you got all these side gigs making money. He's like, Pat, when I won the PGH, when I'm winning majors back in the day, I was maybe making a couple $100,000. You win a major right now, you're making $5-6 million. The money's changed in this industry too, right?
It does. I mean, the sponsorships and all that kind of thing. I've never had a sponsorship deal, by the way.
Never.
I mean, Tootsie's. Steve Smith and I are friends, though, and Steve, he paid to wrap a semi and put it on the road with me, but that ain't nothing like what some of these other artists have been getting in terms of sponsorship packages. I'm just not the guy that these companies are thinking of when they say we need a big time celebrity.
It's called Jamey Johnson.
Yeah, let's get Jamey Johnson on the phone. Which is fine. But
I would have never guessed that, boys. That Jamey's never had like a brand deal.
Never had a brand deal.
Hey.
It'd probably scare the hell out of me if somebody called. I'd wonder what they're up to.
And we talked a little bit about when the cameras are off. When you think about In Color, like, in your opinion, how did that song get so big, and how did it touch so many people? Was it just you were on the road constantly playing it live? Because it's not like streaming wasn't a huge thing back in 2008. Is that correct?
No, when there wasn't any streaming.
It was radio.
It was country radio or bust. And country radio, you know, they might have played it a little, but it didn't ever have any real radio success. And in fact, it really didn't get a whole lot of attention until it won the Song of the Year at both the ACMs and the CMAs.
Now, how often, I mean, has that ever happened?
Well, it happened to me once before with Give It Away.
Give It Away.
That won the Song of the Year at both of them.
Has anybody ever done that twice?
Only one other songwriter that I know of, and that's because he called me up after In Color had done it, and it was Chris Stapleton, and he said, so that's your second time winning Song of the Year at both the ACMs and the CMAs in the same year. I said, yes, sir. He said, there's only been one other, and you're talking to him. And so every time I saw Chris after that, he would kind of give me that wink and, you know, that all-knowing one of two. One of two.
So when you think about these award shows, because I want to stay on that topic because I think it's defining, in my opinion, especially these days when you can get any type of country music getting the attention that it deserves. Think about what Zach Top's doing right now. I mean, I think Zach Top just won a Grammy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty cool.
That's big.
When you have somebody that then comes into the scene like Chris Stapleton, like when you first heard his voice, I mean, what were you thinking?
Blown away. Absolutely blown away. If Chris Stapleton had 1,000 Grammys, it wouldn't be enough to express how really good he is as a singer and songwriter, and just a man. I mean, he's a true intellectual and a hell of a businessman, but a hell of a family man. And there ain't much not to love about him.
Hey y'all, it's Pat, and I'm excited to welcome Ducks Unlimited to the Like a Farmer podcast. Your hunt starts with healthy wetlands and associated habitats. From the Alaskan wilderness to the Atlantic flyway, across America's Great Plains and down the Mississippi Delta, Ducks Unlimited has been protecting and restoring habitats for nearly 90 years. But their work is far from over. They need our help to reach the next 1 million acre milestone and ensure waterfowl for generations to come. DU volunteers and supporters have led the charge to fill the skies with waterfowl today, tomorrow, and forever. Why don't you come join the team that's making a real difference? Ducks Unlimited is powered by people like you. With your help, they can continue to raise funds that drive wetlands conservation across the whole continent. Whether you are out selling tickets, securing donations, or finding that next sponsor, they have a role for everyone. If you want to join today, visit www.ducks.org/volunteer. Ducks Unlimited, conservation for a continent. So you have Stapleton come into the genre in a heavy way. I mean, every time you turn on an award show, if they wanted to give awards to country music, Stapleton would be up there. But then, and I had mentioned this earlier, it's like when you don't see a ton of traditional country music right now, I do think it helps leapfrog people like a Zach Top to the top, because you still have those fans that are like, I'm all in on traditional country music. I mean, Top is...
Yeah, he's doing it right. Everything he does is wonderful. He's grown up right. He's lived the lifestyle, and he really loves the people, and he loves the music, and it shows. Every song he writes, it just shows. I think of country music as kind of a tree, and traditional is the trunk. And so over time, country's going to branch off in a direction, and it's going to go until it can't go anymore. And when it's done, it comes back to the trunk before it branches off in another direction. And it just runs its course that way. But traditional is always the trunk. And that's where you find those timeless artists and songwriters, and they don't flash in the pan and go away. They never go away.
Damn right.
That's what you're talking about with guys like Merle Haggard and George Jones, Waylon, Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson. They never go away. They're always relevant.
When I sit here today and you think about Nashville and the people that come on the show, and you've got these groups that are hanging out together, they're going on the road together, and the friendships, like, can you take me a little bit back? Like, who were some of the groups? Obviously, I know you and Willie have a great relationship, but like, who were you hanging out with, having good times with, maybe, going on the town with back in the day?
Well, for me, it was the trailer park. Randy Hauser, Lee Bryce, Jared Neiman, Rob Hatch, Dallas Davidson. And it's like I knew every artist in town, but especially through those guys, because I might not have known everybody in town, but we sure did. We always had a connection to somebody, and I didn't have to leave the group to get to them. I just had to ask, hey, who knows this one? And somebody's going to speak up. I know that guy. Play golf together.
Yeah, just with him the other day. And now you're to a point, I'm telling you, whether it's Ella, whether it was Hannah who was on the show, obviously Riley who's been on the show a couple of times, it's like these guys and girls, anytime your name gets brought up, it's like, well, I mean, Jamey, I mean, he's the guy.
Somebody gets up and walks out.
He's the guy that I go to for mentorship. He's the guy, if I have a question, I call Jamey Johnson. Like, do you feel, I don't want to say obligated, but like, how does that make you feel when this crop of talent are coming up and they're coming to you asking for advice and should I do this? Should I not do that?
I think everybody who does this for a living, they need some barometer of how they're doing. They need some way to gauge it. They need somebody they can bounce their ideas off of, or some of their trials and tribulations that can kind of tell you the honest truth about it. I needed that too when I started off. And for me, more times than I could count, it was Willie, Merle, George Jones, hell, Nancy Jones for that matter, Christopherson, Chris and Lisa. And it's been Shooter Jennings, Nikki Mitchell, who was a manager for Whalen. I've had a long history of mentorship with people who have been around this business a lot longer than I have. And you call them up just to kind of, hey, I got this going on. What does that sound like to you? It was Willie that told me one time not to really dwell on the opinions of the suits in this business. They're going to be around for a short time. But he said down the line, they're all going to be selling used cars or furniture or insurance or something else. They're going to get into some other line of work, and you're still going to have to get on your bus and get to Ohio because you got a show. And he said, you're the one that's going to be here in the end. None of them are going to be around.
And that's true. I mean, you've seen it now time and time, I'm sure.
You sit and watch these labels, and they change hands, and they keep changing hands. And the ones that used to be over here are over there, and the ones that are over there in the medical field, they're doing something completely different. Or they're retired and become some hedge fund accountant or something like that, So that's some of the advice that I got. And some of the advice that I give is very similar in that regard, but I don't know that I mentor very well. I know that I try to give honest and direct advice, and when it's asked of me.
Well, look, I mean, let's just be honest. All the names that I just mentioned, they're all from Alabama, so you might just be biased. I mean, you just might, hey, if you're from Alabama, you might as well call Jamey Johnson because he's going to treat you right. If you're not, I don't know. Don't call
We're working on that direct connect for Alabama.
Exactly.
Right. We probably still have to go through Georgia.
Now, when it comes to today and what you're doing today on putting music out and being on the road, have you had to change any of your technique? Now, look, you can go to a crowd and you can sing in color, and they're going to sing it back, which has just got to be monumental when they're all singing it back. But there's some other things that you might have to do. I mean, is Jamey Johnson on TikTok? You doing some TikToks to promote some albums, some songs, some tours? Like, have you had to change anything when it comes to how you strategically put out music or a tour, or is it just kind of same old?
I'd say 2 years ago, I don't think I had ever been on social media. Maybe three years ago, and now I don't have those kinds of reservations. I see it now, kind of like one of these billboards downtown Nashville. Social media is one of those things that everybody's aware of, and every now and then you see one of your favorite artists on there, or, something you are interested in. So it's not a total bucket of crap. Every now and then there's something very valuable in it, and I use it for that. I use it for marketing, but also just, hey, we got a show. It's coming up in this town on this date, and that sort of thing. It is a wonderful tool for releasing new music, which we didn't have when I first started off. And to be honest with you, I'm probably a little archaic and just didn't understand the value in it for all those years. But I went a lot of time and just didn't think there was any way for me to get new music out. And without that, then there's no point in me spending the money I'd have to spend to record a new album. And now I spend the money, but we still don't sell the records.
Well, and I think it's one of those things where it's surrounding yourself with the right team. Luckily, you've got EB and her team, because I remember we were in Vegas, and Riley's obviously been like, hey, you need to get Jamey on the show. I remember telling you, like, hey, I'm gonna DM you, get you on the show, and I DM'd you, and somebody from your team saw the DM, thank goodness. So I don't know if that person's in the room right now, but thank you, because he would have never checked those DMs. But
I had to ask my wife, because last night I said, I'm sitting here reading an article, and I stopped and I said, what does it mean to slide into somebody's DMs? She told me a little bit about it, and I thought, why is this a negative connotation? And I showed her the thing, and she said, Oh, that's somebody trying to score. Oh.
Now, it could be somebody trying to get an interview too, okay?
Well,
So I did slide in the DMs just to get Jamey on the show, and it worked. So sometimes it does work. Just
I
want
have
people to
no
know that.
idea what part of my phone I'd have to dial into to find a DM.
Well, that's not a bad thing.
I'm glad I have people that handle that for me.
I'm with you. Hey, we play a game on this show, okay?
Oh, shit.
This game's called Give 'em the Boot, presented by TECOVAS.
There you go.
I got a brand new pair of boots for you, okay, Jamey? Now, there's 4 questions in the boot. You have to answer all of them. Now, you can give one of them the boot, meaning you don't have to answer it.
Oh, what kind of questions are these?
Now, I think Daly had to give one of them the boot, which I'm glad that he did, but
Yeah.
nobody else has given one the boot. Well, you might as well just answer all of them.
Let's see what it is. Here.
Now, need you to bear with me because when I saw
I've
these
got
the
on
other day,
TECOVAS, by the way. That's
look at that.
yeah.
Hey, these are the new iced tea collection from TECOVAS.
Oh, yeah.
That I looked at these the other day. I was like, they've got Jamey's name written all over them.
I appreciate that.
Question number 1. It's good handwriting, but if you need some help, I'm here for you.
What is one of your favorite memories from the military? Favorite in what way?
Yeah. Memorable. How about that?
The first things that come to mind are not really favorites. They're just most memorable. Does that count?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, one of them would be my first morning waking up on Paris Island. When you get there, you're going to be sleep deprived for probably a few days. And to us, it seems like a week. To me, it seemed like a month because I had a fever when I got there that broke halfway through registration. And I really needed some sleep. And so I slept hard when we finally got to bed. And when I woke up to the slapping of a fist around my throat and my whole body yanked off the top bunk and landed on my back on the floor. And he said, I said, wake up, bitch. I was like, that's how I woke up. So I'm not sure that counts as a favorite memory, but it's definitely one of my most memorable.
You won't forget it. Okay, that's
I
good.
ain't never going to forget that.
Question number 2. That was awesome.
All right, let's see. Who is on your Mount Rushmore of country music?
There's only 4 of those now.
There's a lot of different ways to answer that. But the honest answer is I don't know why the 4 guys who are on Mount Rushmore are on there. So I don't know what kind of significance that denotes. But I can tell you that if I had to pick the top 4 in country music just off of the top of my head, it comes out Hank Williams, Willie Nelson, Johnny Cash, Merle Haggard.
The Hank on there is just he would probably be my number 1, to be honest with you.
I think if you're going to have Hank Williams, it's not just the one. I think it's a whole line of them now.
I would agree with that. We can count that as one.
Hank Jr. every bit as deserving as Hank Sr. He had to carve his own path too. So Hank Williams is more of like a family brand.
I'm with you. Counts as one.
Hank third, yeah. All right.
That's a good one.
What else have we got here? These ain't so bad.
No, they're not.
I ain't had to boot one yet. Who is an artist that helped you early in your career? He probably didn't even realize he was helping me, but he did. And it was Rhett Akins. Rhett and I first met in a bar. We were both drunk, and it didn't go so well. And years later, probably a year or two later maybe, we ended up on a tour together. And it was one of those things. I was reluctant at first to do. We were sharing a band and a bus and everything else. And through the course of that tour, I got to see him in a different way. Less as a guy I met in a bar when I was drunk, and more as a kind of a mentor to me too. That he was like a big brother figure. And he really educated me on a lot of different things. And the most important thing was, it ain't all about me. Not even a conflict that was between me and him. None of that was all about me. And this whole touring career, these concerts, they're not all about me either. And so I don't have to take all this stuff so personal. And he just kind of, he really shines some light on a lot of different things for me. And he's one of those artists that I have grown to appreciate and admire so much over the years. So
that's a good one.
Rhett Akins. Thank you, Rhett. All right, we got one more. I ought to give this one the boot without reading it, huh?
No. You'll have a good one for this one.
What is your best Riley Green story? I've aged like a dairy product. So every time Riley and I end up in a picture together, he always says, 3 generations, even if it's just me and him. Yeah. Somehow I represent 2 generations just on my own. So Brock Lesnar got me into this form of stretching and strength training, and it's nothing more than a foam roller in parts with a little yoga mat. It's not yoga, but it's taking a sphere, a ball, and just mashing it into your shoulder by putting all your body weight on it and rolling it over it. You find the things that hurt and you just really focus on them. We were doing a golf tournament down in Alabama that Riley puts on every year. And I parked my bus outside his house, and first thing in the morning, I get out on that mat, start rolling over these foam rollers and these balls and everything. Riley come out there and looked at me. He's standing there drinking his coffee, and he's looking at me. He said, "Damn, I didn't know you was going to come out here and be doing yoga in my front yard." He said, "We got a gym out back if you want to use that." He's one of the funnier guys I've been around.
I would agree.
He and it's that baseball jock humor.
Oh,
you know, the catcher that never shuts up while you're trying to bat.
Yeah, exactly.
Riley's loaded with that. Yeah.
Talk.
Like in Major League, how's your wife and my kids?
Yeah. Or Sandlot. I went out with your sister last night.
Yeah.
Tell her I said hello.
Yeah, that's Riley.
When you mentioned, and you told me before, you and Brock Lesnar have a good relationship.
Yeah.
How did that even come about? Because I think I could see, and we probably could make some calls like when WWE comes to town next, maybe getting Jamey Johnson in the ring, do a little. I mean, if Jelly Roll can do it, you can do it. I mean, I think it'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'd have to have Jelly Roll as security for that. Brock and I met at an event with Zach Brown, and it was kind of a costume thing. Everybody was dressed up like the 70s. When I saw him walk in, all I knew was that a mountain and a tank top that looked like a wife beater just walked in the front door. I was standing around with a couple of attorneys and my wife. And when he walked up, Brittany said she thought about smashing her glass on a table. We didn't know what we were getting into, and I didn't know that was Brock Lesnar. You know, everybody was dressed up in some kind of a disguise or costume or something, and he introduced himself, or actually a mutual friend introduced it. He said, Jamey, this is a huge fan of yours, Brock Lesnar. I said, you got huge, right? Man, one intimidating, imposing figure.
Big time farmer too.
The Nephilim have nightmares about Brock Lesnar.
I can imagine.
I mean, he's just a big dude. He looks like he could just take a big guy and just break him over his leg and throw him on the firewood pile.
And has done everything, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he did the WWE, he did the UFC, and he did the NFL too.
Yeah.
Played for the Vikings. For
Oh, he's done it all. He's gotten me on a. Well, I've had the desire to get healthier and stronger always, but he's got me on a nutrition plan and an exercise regimen.
Right now.
Yeah, seems to be doing really good for me. So
you look good, man.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. You walked out of Waylon's car, which that's just a whole different. I mean, that was a subtle flex right there. Had the boots on.
It's not so subtle. I break them cars out every now and then. They just need to get the oil running through them, get the fluids moving.
Country music today and how it's changing, but we go back to talk about that traditional country and how Zach Top's been doing what he's doing, obviously what Stapleton's doing. But when you think about the fan base, and honestly, it's why this show's had the success it has. It's like everybody wants to be part of that lifestyle of like, hey, I want to drive a pickup truck. I want to go outside. I want to learn how to hunt and fish and wear boots. In your opinion, why do you think this, I'm calling it the rural America wave around the country? COVID probably had to do with it, right? Taylor Sheridan's probably had a big role to do with it, what he's doing on linear television. Why do you think this lifestyle is becoming cool again and popular again?
I think for those that have a hunger for it, it's always been there. They've always been looking for a simpler way to live, a simpler way to exist. I think for the people who don't understand it, you're never going to. But I would caution you not to read too much into the simple lyrics of these country songs. It's not dumb. It's almost deceptive in its intelligence. It's almost deceptive in its spirituality and in its ultimate fulfillment. So it's a naive person that looks at country music and thinks it's all about trucks and beer and dirt roads. What you're listening to is the yearning of a people to get back to its roots. And I wouldn't get in the way of that.
God, that was iconic. Even coming from Jamey's voice. Are you kidding me? Some of these sayings, too, that you've been, I mean, I've learned, I appreciate you. You're a military man, so it's like, hey, if you're on time, you're late. You show up an hour and a half early, that's okay. But some of these sayings that I want everybody to hear, because I told you, one of my first friends that I met in town was Irv, God rest his soul. But you were telling me about him and Willie's saying.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Well, the first time I heard it was Irv, and the second time I heard it was Willie. And I know they didn't get together and conspire to tell me these things, but the saying goes like this: the best thing for the inside of a man is the outside of a horse. And I think what they mean by that is it's therapeutic, when there's something inside you that's not quite in balance, whether it's in your thoughts or whether it's in your heart, whether it's in anxiety or something else, whatever it is that's troubling you, get on the horse. And it's like all of it just kind of gets worked out. Willie told me that one time when I told him my hips were hurting. Had this little arthritis that was worked up, and Willie said, well, the best thing for the inside of a man is the outside of a horse. And I went, dang, I've heard that before. So
that's true. Those two, there's no chance they got together and say, hey, when we see Jamey, we're going to ingrain this into him.
Yeah, he'll stitch this on a pillow.
Willie's still out on the road, man. I mean, I was at and I forgot the venue. Great venue outside of Nashville. It actually, what's the venue? That kind of almost looks like Red Rocks, but it's right down the road. Do y'all know what I'm talking about?
Rock Quarry. In Franklin.
It's in Franklin.
That's where we got married. It's at Rock Quarry.
Okay, yeah, exactly.
So back in early 2000s, I told you I was in the pumping business.
Yep.
I used to go out there and pump that quarry out.
I mean, what
when they were working.
Great venue there.
Yeah.
But like, why does somebody like a Willie, I mean, is it just one of those things that's like, hey, I want to stay on there? Like, I hunger just being out there, because he's still out there getting it done on the road.
I don't know what drives him in that regard. But I know that his desire is through the roof. It always has been. And I don't see him ever retiring. He used to make a joke about it and say, I'll only play golf and music. Which one of them am I supposed to retire from? But seeing him now at 92, about to be 93 years old, and he don't show any signs yet of surrendering. He wants to play. He wants that connection. And he's not through. And unless he decides he's through, he's going to keep going.
Do you see yourself when you're that age still getting after it and doing the road?
I need to start visualizing myself making it to that age. If I'm doing anything at 92, I hope I'm still able to get out and play and sing.
I mean, it's something that I do think, kind of your Rhett story. It's like, I think what you do for country music even today is something that you don't even know what you do. And you just inspire people just to get into it. Like, even look, you have been, everybody asks me like, hey, who's your top 5 that you want to get on? And you're always on that top 5 just because of who you are and what you've done for the genre. And I love this show just because I love highlighting, especially the younger people coming up, just wanting a platform. I love storytelling. That's what I can't sing worth a damn, but I can tell a story. I love doing it. And like, I don't think you realize just yet what you're doing for the genre. So I think country music is good when Jamey Johnson is in it.
Oh man, thank you. I appreciate the encouragement.
Do you, like, when you think about, what's coming down the pipeline that you're excited about, what's next for Jamey? Like, are some things that you're just looking forward to right now?
For me, I'm always looking forward to my next time fishing. But fishing to me comes in a lot of different ways. And sometimes you're fishing for a line when you're in a writing room. And I keep a couple of songs on the burner at any given time. I got a couple of songwriters I can't wait to get back with and see if we can finish up a chorus or a verse. Some of them just to spend a little time together. I hope there's new songs and new albums on the way, but something I take a great deal of pride in these days, or get a great deal of excitement out of anyway, is seeing the new songwriters and the new artists coming along that are doing such a wonderful job.
Like an Ernest, what we talked about before.
The list is a mile long. You said Hannah and Ella, Megan, Laney, Jelly, Morgan Wallen, Luke Combs. I love all of these guys. I love everything they put out. You're gonna get fed. George Burge, love his new stuff.
100%.
Gavin Adcock.
Dude, you want to talk about a guy that just can steal an audience, man? That dude,
Yeah,
he got to watch out. I mean, I think right now when it comes to a live event, there's nothing better than going to a Gavin Adcock show.
Yeah, it's a different deal. You're going to see some beer getting thrown around.
Now I go with a poncho.
And a helmet.
Yeah, poncho and a helmet. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But it is cool to see, those people coming up and doing their different thing in the music. And look, you just got married last year too.
Huh.
I mean, I'm getting married. You got married May of last year.
Yeah.
I'm getting married May of next year. Like, any type of wedding advice or wedding tips I need to be watching out for?
Have all the fun you can. It's the biggest party of your life, Soak it up. It's going to last you a lifetime.
Did you have a good wedding?
We had an absolutely wonderful wedding.
Big party. Did you go up there and play? Did you have were you a band or a DJ guy?
We had a band. I don't think we had a DJ. We had a really good band. We had Kid Rock. I mean, he didn't play; he was there.
So the party was there no matter what.
Oh, we had just a ton of celebrities, and Ernest sang. So that was a wonderful gift. Ella was there. We had a great day. Brittany's whole family came up, and there ain't nobody parties like they do, man. Them Mississippi coast.
You got Alabama and Mississippi, and you put them together, you better watch out.
It was Mardi Gras up in there.
I love it.
They did it right.
Well, like I said, I really appreciate what you're doing for country music. I think this has been awesome. I mean, the first hour and a half that I got from you has just been that was really cool, honestly, just to sit there and have a cup of coffee and just talk about what you've been doing and what you're wanting to do. So I really appreciate you sharing some of these stories today.
Thank you for having me.
Come on more often, man.
Enjoy.
And as always, I appreciate y'all tuning in every single Wednesday. Why don't you go on Like a Farmer, check us out, see who the episode of the week is, and wherever you listen to your audio podcast, just continue to like, comment, subscribe, share, do whatever you got to do to be like a farmer.
Thank you for the boots, TECOVAS.